Hello and welcome to this episode of Consider This. I'm your host, Charles Lake, and today we're going to go through the chemical styrene. This is going to take many episodes, but it's very worth listening to because it's in our air that we breathe. Anything that burns creates styrene, car emissions, firewood, diesel exhaust, home heating oil. So it's in the air we breathe, so it's everywhere. It's also part of the plastics and styrofoam, which is one of the worst ways we consume. But we're going to go into this, and I'm hoping to open your eyes to some of the health concerns that come with styrene. And it's going to take several episodes, and we're going to tackle a little at a time. So this is a 1994, December 1994 styrene fact sheet from the EPA. And in this fact sheet, it's very important to notice that it states that styrene does not occur naturally. It's because it's synthetic. It's created by doing things with other things like burning gasoline, burning diesel fuel, firewood, anything that burns creates styrene. So it's been in the air for quite some time, but not in the concentrations that it is nowadays. So I want to point that out to you. The other thing I want to point out to you is that food processing companies use small amounts of styrene as a flavoring agent in foods such as ice cream and candy. This was back in 1994, remember? December of 1994. That's the EPA says, they were putting in ice cream and candy. We've come a long way since then, and we'll get to that in a little bit. And they say styrene enters the body when people breathe in air or consume food or water contaminated with styrene. So they also say the effects of styrene on human health and the environment depend on how much styrene is present and the length and frequency of the exposure. So we got to keep this in mind as we go forward. It depends on the length and frequency of the exposure. And like I said, we're breathing it in. Every breath you take has a certain amount of styrene in it. And some of our foods have styrene in it. And we're going to go into that, like I said, a little bit later. So effects also depend on the health of the person and the condition of the environment the exposure occurs in. And I want to bring this up. The Agency for Toxic Substance and Disease Registry is one of the companies they tell you to contact. And they're also the main company that done most of the research, or was supposed to. And I'm bringing that up because we're going to go to their page right now. And there's something that you have to see. It's imperative to know that the government ain't exactly working on your best behalf or your children's. It says children are expected to be affected by styrene poisoning in the same manner as adults. This is not true. And we're going to get into it in a little bit. Human studies are not adequate to evaluate the developmental toxicity of styrene. So what they're saying is the studies that they have can't figure out whether a child is affected differently. So that this here is from The U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, along with the Agency for Toxic Substance and Disease Registry, and it's from September 2011. Okay, so let's go over to their other page, which is marked TP 53, and this is Tox Guide 53, so it's the same. And this section focuses on exposures of concentration of maternity to 18 years in humans, and differences from adults to accessibility, which you can read here. Here, let me make it a little bit bigger for you. Children are not small adults. It says so right here. So therefore, the exposure rate is different. And a child's exposure may differ from an adult. It says so right here. So this is really important because children drink more fluids, eat more food, breathe more air per body weight, and have larger skin surface in proportion to their body volume. A child's diet often differs from an adult's. Okay, so this is very important, and they even done something a little bit different for us, and this is what page are we on here? This is 166 of this document. If we go back to 164, they've done us a little bit here, and they put in styrene levels in food items. And this is the food items. This is the number of detections that they've done. This is the minimum that they found, and this is the maximum. As you can see, this has a lot of stuff in it that children eat. And it's don't look good. But anyway, these are parts per billion, which might not sound like a lot, but with the way this chemical, which we're not going to go into the side effects just yet, I'm just trying to show you that the government is not looking out for your best interest. They're looking out for the best interest of these big corporations, which food industry make these products, and the styrene that goes into in our plastics and everything comes from oil. So styrene actually comes from the oil. So this is how I know that a silent pandemic. This is from Harvard School of Public Health, and it's a silent, and it does not name styrene exactly in this document, but it does refer to it, and because styrene is also, they use it for a lot of it's a cleaner. They use it in janitorial stuff. I mean, this stuff's all over. It's used in glues. It's used in a lot. A developing brain is much more susceptible to toxic effects of chemicals than an adult brain. And this is a document that you can get online. You can go to Harvard School of Public Health, and you can get this document. I made it into a PDF so that I could use it to show you. This is important, but this document comes from this document, which is the neurotoxicity of industrial chemicals. And exposure to these chemicals during early fetal development can cause brain injury at doses much lower than those affecting adult brain function. Okay, the toxic effects of such chemicals in the development human brain are not known, and they are not regulated to protect children. So this is neurodevelopmental disorders such as autism, attention deficit disorder, mental retardation, cerebral palsy, and other common costly and can cause lifelong disability. And in this document, they name 2 pages worth of chemicals. And it's pretty important because the developing human brain is inherently much more susceptible to injury caused by toxic agents than is which the brain of an adult. Okay, and this is on the web. You can go to my website to get this. I'll show you how to do that in a little bit, and it's really worth reading. And if we go down here in organic solvents, you have benzene, which they make plastics out of, isobenzene and different benzenes, and there's the styrene. It's listed right in the document. And on page 8, I believe, is something. Here's a bunch of other chemicals that so there's a lot of stuff going on here, but additionally, this neurotoxic chemical procedures lifelong changes in behavior with shortened attention span, increased impulsivity, I can't even talk today, heightened aggressiveness, slowed motor, so impaired memory, large language skills, and consequences are increased likelihood of school failure, diminished economic productivity. So what they're saying here is this stuff here can affect you the rest of your life. I know this for a fact. I was poisoned by the styrofoam food containers, which is styrene and benzene. And that's one of the things we're going to talk about. But I told you I would show you the reason why we should be so concerned. As in 1994, they said it was in such foods as ice cream and candy. Now I want to show you, this is the list right here, which is the different kinds of styrene, right here, styrene, this comes from the FDA's Food and Drug Administration. This is the food additive. And these are the food additives made of styrene. It's got styrene somewhere in the name that is added to our food when you buy processed foods. And this is the stuff that's actually put in the food. This is what they directly put into the food. And for one reason or another, and this is 1 page. Here's 2 pages. Now we're going to go, here's the 3rd page. And that's it. 3 pages. Now, we've come a long way since 1994. So, now this list is indirect food additive. This is stuff that they have no idea how it got into the food, why it's in the food, but it's in the food. And it could be from the transportation of the food, because we still use the same vehicles to haul food as we haul toxic waste and chemicals and everything else. So that's why this is pretty important. And if you look at this, this is going to be about 7 pages long, I believe. Here's page 1. Here's page 2. Here's page 3. Here's page 4. Here's page 5. Page 6. Oh, maybe it's one. Say page 7. Page 8. Page 9. Page 10. Page 11. Page 12. So it's 12 pages long. I'm sorry, I was wrong. It was not 7. It's 12 pages long. So, but the last page does not. You can download this off my website. I saved it off of the FDA's website so I could show it to you, to show you exactly. This is my website here, and here's the Harvard publication 2006. There is one from 2010 that we're not going to go into today because we probably ran over our 10 minutes already. But there are the things from Johns Hopkins. Here, there's the documentation you can get off of my webpage here. There's all kinds of stuff. This is upsetting because styrene affects us in so many ways. And next time we come back, we're going to show you some of the side effects from styrene. Like I said, it's one of the worst tobacco chemicals. If you look at the side effects from the tobacco smoke and look at the side effects from styrene, they pretty much mirror each other. And if you've seen this here, this is we're going to go into it later. So I hope you got some good information today. We'll go further with this, with the health effects tomorrow, or next episode. And I hope you've gotten some good information. All right. Have a good day. Bye.